Hello and welcome back to the Fox Strength Performance YouTube channel. I am Taylor Fox, and I will admit it has been a little bit. So we were talking about Strongman Corp Nationals today. Definitely like a wild ride of trying to get prepared for that after signing up very late. I think I signed up about 4 weeks out. And honestly, I worked like very heavy weeks, a lot of overtime, extra work just to be able to do that, as well as save up money for other things. I made it happen. Definitely not the competition I was hoping for, but I'm still happy I did it. I'm still happy that I went. I had fun, like just seeing everyone, getting to go out there on the competition floor, even like after 5 events, and it was like the 6th event. It was like, I know I'm not really gunning for everything. I was still like so freaking nervous to go out there and do the sandbag steeplechase. Like I still wanted to do really well, and I felt like that was like the event where I could. And even like that, going with like the theme of the day, like slipped up a little bit and just didn't finish the way I wanted to.
Come on, get it!
Just to kind of get this channel re-going, I want to bring out a lot of content. I want to expand like what I'm doing coaching wise and what I'm doing like engagement wise. And I feel like this is the first step, and I've already filmed some other videos, so it definitely will not be one and done. This is going to be a video, and then we'll have more videos coming after that. So Nationals, take the trip down. Wasn't a bad drive. Just short of 11-hour drive from here in Pennsylvania. With stops, took me 12 hours. Easy, just keep driving, get down there. I like check into my Airbnb. I'm like pretty settled, feeling good. Made it just in time for the check-in window. I go to check in. I'm like, of course, I need to go to the venue. Walk in, venue's all set up. Everything's there. Strongman stuff, banners, everything, ADL Live, but nobody's like really there. Like there's no competitors. The ADL Live guys, like they're over at the hotel. They're doing it right now. They're checking in people. Go now. So I'm like, oh my God, run out of there. Turned out like some people went to the other embassy suites too. So there's 2 embassy suites in Greenville. Some people went to the other one. Some people went to the venue, and then just getting to the hotel, which I was not staying at, it's like a mess. There's like this huge line of people, and like I'm like, can I go into Nathan Payton's talk? So I did, and for a while I was like, you couldn't even really hear anything because everybody was just outside in the hallway. The doors were open. I did feel like I got some interesting stuff out of that. So got through that, did rules. Everything seemed pretty, straightforward. Definitely a heavy competition of like 6 events that are very involved. Like you got a heavy Conan's wheel, you got a deadlift, then bag throw just all on day 1, and then got some serious events on day 2. Like there wasn't anything like, hey, we're gonna do a front hold or we're gonna do a Hercules hold. Just something to like get everybody through quickly, fill the competition up. Like all these events hit hard, and it was great to see them put a Nationals on like this. So having signed up late, the guy that signed up after me dropped out. I go first, feeling okay, warm-ups. Like I felt like I got there early on in the day, got my mobility going, was ready and prepared. I had done plenty of picks with the Conan's wheel in the back, picked it. Like I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to rush out of the box. Okay, let's start walking. Get a quarter rotation. I'm like, I'm fine. And then I kept walking, and it was like the whole body goes numb, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I can't like just keep walking if I'm going to pass out, but I also need to do well in this event. So I just kept trying to like run through it. I'll say like I probably should just like stopped, leaned back, rebalanced it. A lot of times I've like strained through that feeling of like blacking out and it's gone away, but I really just wasn't, acclimated to that feeling, and stumbled and had it down at like 250 degrees. I will say that the specificity I was lacking here, I felt very good with like different Zercher picks, but I didn't have the experience of knowing what to do if I got dizzy, if I blacked out on a Conan's wheel specifically, because I haven't done it in a while. I've had some good results lately competing on it, and one bad one from like years and years ago, but that doesn't excuse like the lack of specificity in the training. Like I should have gone somewhere, and there were a couple of spots nearby where I live that I could have like made the trip to just try to get that in. Like, no, like, hey, if I get dizzy here, like this is what I need to do to stay in it and keep going and get more degrees on that rotation. Whatever, he moved on. I was definitely upset with it. I was like, here we go. Like, this isn't starting out well. But came back strong for deadlift. Honestly, hurting right hamstring, deadlifting on the axle at OSG regionals, hurting left hamstring training. I come back and not much deadlift training and managed to come up with like easy weights. I'm taking the jumps that I want to. Like, I kind of went the reverse of a lot of other people on the jumps, but I'm getting my 60-pound jumps in. 785 is easy. 815 definitely slowed down, but like still felt good, and it wasn't like a max lift. And I'm like I got this where I can like really make up some points. I hit 845, and it really did feel like it was coming up, even if I had to hitch it, like whatever. But I just strained something in my upper back and just didn't have that tension to keep pulling it over my knees, which is unfortunate. I've definitely been around the same spot or even like closer to getting 845 before. I mean, I made 845 in the gym. That's my best lift ever, but competition wise, it's eluded me, and I definitely want to get back to pushing the deadlift up soon. I think I have the potential to make progress there, being smart and now being healthy and not, having anything nagging, or at least knowing what I need to work on. I'm like, I go to this chiropractor who's also an athletic trainer, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm also an athletic trainer. Hi. But he's like, oh, geez, man, like you can't even get your arms over your head. And I'm like, I'm aware. Like, I have very poor mobility, train my back a lot. And I'm like, right now, the problem is that I just tried to deadlift 845 and I strained my back and I need to throw a sandbag, like pressing some more or whatever. So he works on it for a little bit, and just throwing sandbag, it just hurt. It hurt a lot, but it was like, I have to deal with it. I was walking back from the chiropractor, picked up the bag, threw it, went what I felt like was a decent height, went back over my head and hit a spot behind me on the ground, like up against the wall. So I was like, okay, cool. It took about 3 more throws like that with my belt on and everything set up. Go out. The hardest part was picking up the bag and carrying it back to where I needed it. And I guess maybe like that threw me off a little bit, but I got back to the uprights. I threw the first bag and it just goes straight up in the air. And I'll say I should have probably been a little bit closer to it, knowing like that's kind of how I throw. I mean, estimating off the video and the light system that they had, which is pretty cool, I would say it definitely went over 14 feet, but I can't be sure. The commentator was like, that had a lot of height, but it needs to go through like to get the light reading. So that gave me some confidence too that it was. The next one I chucked hard back and got like a 13-foot reading. So definitely like a lot of points down from what I was hoping for. And then the third throw was similar to the first, although it did go through and measure 1 light, which is pitiful. I was disappointed because I knew like I had a lot there, a lot of improvement, a lot of potential for sandbag throw. But then also I'm encouraged because it's like, hey, like I have a throw now and I know like my cadence procedure, how I will really want to throw. So I'm like happy moving forward with that. Like next time I have a sandbag throw in a show, like it's gonna be a big thing for me, like training it and going out there to compete. And that wrapped up day 1. All right, day 2, Strongman Corp Nationals. Let's get right into it. Press medley, was not super confident about this one. This was definitely the event I was like, had the lowest expectations for, but I know that my pressing is hit or miss, so I'm going to go in and see what I can do. First axle is easy. I felt like I developed like a good repeatable technique for my axle clean, so I was happy with that. Popped that right up. The log felt really good. I kind of just got really in my head and sloppy about it technically, and it literally ended up like so out far in front of me. It was 295, so like I was able to just kind of fight my way back under it and get the rep. And then I moved on to the third implement, which is the axle at like 315. I was like, I'm going for this. Popped it up to my belly, got the clean. I was sitting there and I had my thumbs around it. I've been trying to like pop and get my thumbs back, go thumbless grip, but I was just like, it feels good. I'm here. Let's press it. Start pressing. It gets over my head. Felt like it was going up and I just lost it behind my head. Like really one of the first axles ever I've lost behind my head. But that's what happens, and it rolled back. I had like 10 seconds left by the time it like had rolled back and hit the crash pads behind me, and it was like, there's no way it's gonna run back, pull it forward and reclean it and everything. So pretty disappointing. Don't want to get too implements, but that's what happened, and that's what I'm gonna roll forward with. I definitely want to be someone that can rock through those first three, get the fourth, and then have potential for the fifth. And it's something I will have to work on, and what I've like really already started pushing to clean up my shoulders and work on my ability and become a little bit more athletic and skilled with those events. Then we moved on to farmers. Honestly, like my grip has been feeling better than it ever has with this type of event. Even like Andrew Haynes had filmed for me, and he was like, dude, you came out of the first 40 like crazy. And I did. I felt good. I picked and just, ran down, started to make the turn, and like I just felt my grip giving out and kind of got stuck in the middle of the turn. I was just trying to like, get the handles turned and start moving straight back. So I ended up fighting my way back and got 56 feet. So it was something compared to like if I had not made it, around the turn. I got like 39 or less than that. I did the best that I could with that event. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes you have to like encourage people, like try to just do the best that you can. If you kind of feel like you're stuck out there on the competition floor and can't move it too much, but you can still pick it and kind of just stumble forward a little bit, like that's going to get you distance that you otherwise wouldn't get. So just trying to give it my all and leave it all out there. And then sandbag steeplechase, definitely very excited for this one. Trained it hard, trained it with an uphill leg, going into my garage on the second leg, like pretty crazy setup. And I was like, I don't know about speed, but I can definitely get through like just the action of carrying the bags and getting them over the bar one by one, and I'll be able to finish. And finishing, I think alone would have been a good points, decent points. The problem is that like a lot of people just didn't, so and that was one of them. So 1 bag over the first bar, 2 bags over the first bar. According to my plan, pop right under the bar and go for the heavy bag. So that kind of slipped on me a little bit on the second pick, but I got it up to my lap, waddled it down to the bar, loaded it over, took my time with that, got back, and they were like, oh, there's time's running out. So I figured then I started to panic a little bit, and like the second bag felt super light, technically the first bag, but the lighter bag felt super light, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll just get it down there and pop it right over. I just didn't have the steam left to like go right over with it, so then it was like I had to lap it, and just giving the attempt of trying to go right over with it, then go back down to the lap and then try to load it. I just couldn't get it any higher than the 56-inch bar, so I ran out of time, but I also dropped the sandbag at the end. I was like, there's nothing I can do. So that was frustrating to end this competition that I just kind of felt short on most events, being up there in deadlift, but then picking up like a little bit of an injury and falling short on the last weight was a little bit discouraging. And for me, it's like, okay, like looking where I was going this year, I had what I felt like was my worst event competitively, OSG Northeast Regionals. I didn't really feel like I was putting on like the best show of strength, and just looking for like a good indicator that like I needed to like shift gears for a little bit. Like I'm always like confident. I wanted to go in and like, cause some problems for people and, pick up points and really do well. And that didn't happen, but I was really gearing up for that. Also now I know like, hey, this is where I actually was compared to like 40 guys on a national level. So I know like there's a lot of things that I have to fix, and compared to 2023 where I felt like I was really moving forward, I haven't had that same effect in 2024. And having done the 2 comps I've done, like there's definitely some things I just can't keep pushing off and like, oh, that won't be that big of a problem, so I'll just keep dealing with it I'm gonna be okay. So it's like the levator issue I've had in my shoulder, and then just my shoulder mobility overall, like it being pretty restricted and not being able to get a good overhead position. And then this kind of like nagging, stabbing glute pain that will go down my leg at times. Doesn't feel so much like sciatica because I've had that before, but I had hurt my SI joint doing a heavy deadlift in 23, I guess, and then I kind of had this after, like I would stand up after like a long time of sitting down and like tighten my glutes, and it would kind of seize up on me. And then I fixed that and it was fine, and I really like worked hard on the rehab and then prehab to keep those things away and not have to deal with it. But at some point training, it just kind of came back, whether it be from the training for OSG or the training for something else. And then it just kind of stuck with me for weeks after that, leading up to nationals. So that's definitely something I want to fix. Like I shouldn't have pain on my back, pain on my hip that's like just seizes up after long periods of not moving around. Then you move around, it feels good. And like obviously that really affects the deadlift and affects the events where I have to get over and pick stuff and move implements. So that will be the plan moving forward, is a lot of body weight exercises, a lot of mobility, a lot of conditioning, and not as much loading. Although I was just at Class of the Trident in Atlantic City, and I did do the cardio.
There you go. No problem. Lightweight.
And that was fun. But that won't be as much of a regular thing right now. And really just focusing on the content creation, the coaching, building things other than my athletic prowess, and we'll see how that goes. But look for more coming from me, considering that this is kind of the main focus now, and I will, mold my training and whatever around it to, push forward, giving you guys great information and helping others, reach their full potential. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Leave them in the comments. Until next time, keep lifting those heavy weights. Hold strong.